I know nothing about Pokemon.
And lucky for you, I know a lot. So come check out Season 2 of Top 5 Nintendo, where we'll be ranking and discussing all things Pokemon.
See you there.
In this episode of Another Zelda podcast, some friends join David and Shane to talk about some of the hypothetical holidays that could be celebrated in Hyrule.
Hello and welcome to Another Zelda podcast, a very special episode of Another Zelda podcast. I'm David Geisler, your host, and today I'm joined with my co-host, Shane Kelley, also blog writer on Another Zelda podcast. Shane, thank you so much for having me over at your place again.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I really like the holidays, and I thought something special around our fire would be a great episode. So
Almost back in whatever it was, season 4. I think it was the first time I came here to record some episode where we recorded in your office with all your cool stuff. We already started joking a little bit about like, oh, we should do some kind of like comfy, cozy holiday episode or something like that, because you have this beautiful, beautiful fireplace right behind me here. And then I came about a year ago and we recorded 2 episodes and we were kind of putting it on. And then I think, I don't even know, when did we start talking about making this a reality? Was it almost like 5-6 months ago?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, well, I would want to say that I had this pre-planned over a year ago because I'm like, we could do this. We could put the bucket seats next to the, our fireplace. If it's during the holidays, we can hang all this stuff up. And, we definitely went all out for this decorating. I even want to mention I got a Zelda stocking for my wife about a day or 2 ago, just for this episode and for Christmas.
It's green and yellow, and this particular. If people are listening to this episode, we do have a video version of it on YouTube, which we don't often do.
Yeah,
but this was just we really wanted to make this one super special, and like we're just hanging out with people during the holiday times this year.
Yeah, and this is our 5th year. This is the fifth Christmas holiday season. So this is kind of special. This is half a decade right here. So,
oh my gosh! Isn't that when you put it that way. Oh, also you've gotten some special hot chocolate here, and I haven't tried it yet. I was actually saving it.
Mocha hot cocoa with marshmallows and candy canes. So hopefully you enjoy it.
It's amazing. Do you know what happened? Some of the marshmallows created a little crust.
That is awesome.
I fully inhaled the marshmallow just now.
Perfect.
I'm gonna drink the hot chocolate part.
Yeah. And what's cool too, I've got nutcrackers up here. So my wife, for every Christmas that we've been married, she's bought me a new nutcracker for every year.
Wow!
So we've been together for 11. This will be 12. So I'll get another one at Christmas to put on the shelf for next year.
That is amazing.
So
where did the Whoville sign come from? That's cute too.
Well, my daughter really likes the Grinch. As you can see, you got this here and Whoville, and we've got like different art pieces over on that behind the camera, behind the scenes. But yeah. She really likes the Grinch, so we have a lot of Grinch themed stuff around here. So,
adorable.
Yeah, and this is Daphne, by the way. Her dog, Daphne.
Daphne's hanging out. She jumped up on your lap here while we were setting up the microphones and everything. She was like, "Yeah, I shall participate." I was going to joke that Daphne can go be the camera operator for us if we really need.
No, if you want to get up and do something, you can do that.
She's like, what are my day rates?
Yeah. They get paid in Scooby snacks.
Well, Shane, obviously, I always love coming to see you up here in Manitowoc, and
there we go.
Why is music playing on my phone? Oh my gosh! Do you know what just happened?
What happened?
A song called "Scooby Snacks" from the Fun Loving Criminals just started playing. So Siri's listening a little too much. Siri, calm down.
Thanks, Siri.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. You know how there's the joke about like turn your phones off to be professional during a recording? I never thought about needing to turn your Siri off. But anyway.
That's pretty funny. Well, that's fine. Yeah. We're trying to be cozy. We're trying to be at home,
People, this episode's going to be coming out a little bit before like Christmas. But honestly, a lot of people are experiencing different holidays right now, and we hope that everybody who's a fan of AZP or is watching this is able to spend some time with the people they love, their friends and family. And if you're unable to this year, maybe at least we can keep you company for an hour. So thank you very much for watching the video and hanging out with us.
We appreciate it.
Here at Shane's lovely, lovely home. It's always a treat to come here. Look, there's garland going up the staircase.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got the whole thing happening.
Yes, it's a nice time to be in our house.
I'm like fully embracing the relaxed nature of this episode, sitting in these armchairs and everything.
I am too. I'm so comfortable. Daphne's warm on my leg here.
I can literally feel the warmth from a real fire. Shane, I've missed a real fire. I haven't had a real fire in months. Well, actually, I was able to have a real fire with when Celeste and Timmy hosted me a while back. But this is just a treat to have an actual fireplace inside. It's so cool. I think what I'll do here is I'll get to. I'm sorry. We were riffing for so long. I was being such a bad host. I didn't talk about what we're actually doing today.
Oh, yeah. What are we doing?
Well, how about I've been talking a lot. Why don't I hand it over to you? Why don't you tell the viewers and listeners what's up?
We've been thinking about having a episode about what kind of holidays would Hyrule have. It doesn't have to be just Hyrule. It can be any place or time within the Zelda canon history. And so this episode is called...
we're calling it Hyrule Holidays because
Holidays?
I'm a sucker for alliteration.
Yeah.
But it's also just any... And also we were thinking about this and we were like, well... Celeste and I were in a couple of production meetings. The meeting that we had with you, we were talking about, and we're like, well, it's not so much how would real world holidays be celebrated in Hyrule?
Yes,
not that, but like, could we do some lore building, world building, even, and imagine which holidays could be celebrated in different, I guess, realms or whatever, or in Hyrule in the Legend of Zelda.
So
universe.
basically, legitimate type celebrations based on the lure of the Legend of Zelda.
Indeed. So I'm very excited. I know you have a couple ideas.
I wrote 2.
But we also have a kind of a special treat. We reached out to a few other folks. We reached out to a couple other podcasts, and we heard back from a few. And so we have some special guests. Per a classic holiday style episode, we have some special guests that will be joining us via video here as we go through the episode.
It's like having your friends and family visit you through video. A lot of us have people all around the world that we can't see during the holidays, and it's kind of nice to kind of do something like this and reach out to our friends and family.
Indeed. I think I'll do some listener feedback.
All right.
And maybe we jump right into one of those videos. I'm not even sure which one we'll pick, but we'll pick on the fly, okay?
Yeah, I'm going for it.
Awesome. Well, here's some listener feedback. I have to read from my phone today because I normally read off my iPad, but we're using that for part of this production right now. Here we go. Let's go with, I'm going to start down here and go up. 5 listener feedbacks real quick today. Oh, this one's slightly longer, but I'm going to read it. Here we go. This is from William Pernulla. Oh my gosh, I'm getting so old. William Pernulla said, "Hello, AZP. I just wanted to say thank you. At the time of writing, I'm working nights in a warehouse. I can't believe how soul-crushing this job is. I'm sorry to hear that, William. But you keep saving my days there. I have, since about 2 months back, listened through your entire library of episodes, and I've absolutely cherished every single one." Oh, this is really sweet. I didn't see this one ahead of time. Since when I listened to your early season 1 episodes, I knew this was something I'd have to show appreciation to. You guys have made my day every day when I work. Sincerely, thank you. Well, this is really sweet.
Yeah.
With that said, I have been a massive Zelda fan since I was a kid. I needed something more engaging than music this time around, so for the first time ever, I reached out to podcasts. We've heard this once in a while in listener feedback. I love that.
That's pretty much how I got hooked onto this.
Seriously?
So, yeah. I think someone reached out from another Zelda podcast, and I added them. And
I remember Kate and I speaking about, you were just someone tweeting in season 1.
Yep.
Oh, man, yeah. Celeste was a similar. Actually, almost everybody was that kind of situation that's on the team now. They were like the early listener feedback people. Those were special times back when it was only Kate and I, and now it's a whole team. But anyway, I digress. Let's go back onto William's message here. I've been a massive fan. Okay, I've reached out to podcasts. Zelda was one of the first things that came to mind, and lo and behold, there was AZP. Whether it's David and Kate, guest hosts, or guests every episode, it's filled with engaging fun and jolly conversations. It's just wonderful.
I like jolly right there.
I know, kind of on theme here a little bit. You amazing people at AZP, I think it's you are amazing people at AZP, everyone included, has raised the bar for my expectations of a podcast. Yes, AZP is my first podcast, and you're also the first group I felt like I have to support on Patreon. This is a Patreon message. Oh, I see it right here.
That's awesome.
Oh, yes. Fantastic. Oh, he gave us a very generous, he's in a very generous tier on Patreon. So thank you so much, William. That's really, really sweet.
That is awesome.
I could gush about, he might be seeing us right now, quite frankly.
I hope so.
Hey, how you doing, William? I could gush about you guys a lot longer, but I'll leave it here. Thank you again, AZP. Sincerely, William from Sweden.
That's awesome.
Ooh, I love it. Uppsala. Sweden,
I like
Uppsala. I think that must be. I'm being very ignorant right now. That might be a town in Sweden.
It sounds like one.
Sounds like it. I love it.
I just, it's awesome that we have so many people around the world that are, reaching out.
Well, geez, Louise, you just made me realize half a decade we've been doing this.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, the sun just hit me in the eyes. It is crazy. Boy, that's really making me kind of emotional right now. I got to be honest. I think if we hadn't built the team we've built, I don't think it'd be able to go this long already. You know what I mean? I'm really grateful for how everybody participates. Here we go with another one. That was a tremendously sweet message on Patreon. Thank you so much, William. So here we go. This is a just out there in the public world. This is ridiculous. I have to take my glasses off to do this. I guess 41 is hitting hard here. But this is on our favorite Unsolved Mysteries episode, which is kind of a new one that came out just a while back.
Okay.
That was Celeste's first episode where she was the host.
Yes, I do remember that.
Celeste, and then we had
she does an amazing job. So
she does. Yeah. And there was, for a long time, it was we had the Coons guest hosted for a while.
Yep.
They did about 3 episodes, and then we even had the Turn by Turn guys do an episode for us, which is always fun when people come in and guest host. Celeste has been involved, as you know, because of our production meetings that we have. Celeste has been involved as a producer for the past 3 years, and she works really hard every week.
She does.
I do a lot of the production stuff, but she really handles a lot of the logistics and the community stuff, and I'm so grateful. So anyways, over on an episode that she hosted, her first proper hosting of an episode, which was super exciting. Just Corey says here, I love that you guys continue the pod despite the sort of underground nature of it. I feel like I'm a part of an exclusive Zelda fan club. This is a cozy pod, and if you find yourself not I know it's super cozy today. And if you find I've lost my place. It's a cozy pod, and if you find yourself not having played The Legend of Zelda in a while, then this pod will get you in the right mood. Smiley face party emoji. Also, this show really helps you appreciate being an adult and still loving the series. There are others, LOL, in case anyone has wondered. Smiley face. Just Corey, what is up with all the sweet messages today? They're like, sometimes you get, okay, we love your show, and I always love that feedback, but these are like downright sweet today.
Yeah, and they fit right now.
They fit
I
the
like
coziness.
it. I feel good in my sweater right now.
Yeah. So I'm wearing a sweatshirt that has you have an awesome Christmas sweater with Grogu on it.
Yes, I do.
Super cool. I'm wearing just a Zelda sweatshirt, but I was actually given this as a holiday gift, as a Christmas gift.
I love it.
From my sister about 3 years ago. And so, anyway, I don't know if I was going to dive into that too much. Yeah. We'll leave it at that.
Okay.
I don't often wear sweatshirts. I usually really like sweaters and kind of like the tactful. But she got me a sweatshirt, and I was like, oh my gosh, a gift from the sister and Zelda. That's enough to make me want to wear a sweatshirt. Anyways, okay, so let's keep on moving. Here's a quick little one on top 10 Zelda trailers, which actually, as of this recording, is the most recent episode that went out. This is episode 15 for season 5. This was a little bit of an experiment. This was an episode where the Switch Clicks podcast.
I just finished listening to that this morning, and I really enjoyed it.
The AZP part
and
of it?
Yes, if they want to ask me about E3 2016, I can definitely fill them in.
Did you hear them gush when I bragged about you?
Yeah. I was gushing when I was there. It was like, this is awesome. I felt like I really felt like I was playing Zelda for the first time, or like I was immersed in it the first time again, because everything was surrounding you, everything was Zelda, everyone there was there for Zelda. Definitely was awesome.
As a little bit of a recap, we in the previous episode, the Switch Clicks and I ended up speaking just a little bit about the 2016 E3 experience where Nintendo had all the Breath of the Wild stuff set up, and because of a previous conversation you and I had, I was able to brag about Shane being there, and they got very excited. So anyways, okay, on that episode we got the Sleepy Hillian messaged us real quick, left a comment on YouTube, and it says, it's a privilege to be here first. Love everyone at AZP. This must be the first comment in the thread. It's a privilege to be here first. Love everyone at AZP. What a great way to start the holiday. Wow. Every comment is hitting the theme here.
This is nice.
May the goddess smile upon all of you. 3 green heart emojis. I often say that my personal internal headcanon of AZP is that the green heart means AZP love. Whenever people add that in their comments, I personally get very touched by that. It's very cool. All right, here we go. I think this is the last one. Maybe there's one more after this. Liz, over on a Zelda conversation in Mexico City, which a lot of current ones now.
I like that one too. That was very good.
That was such a special treat. I was just in Mexico City for other reasons and accidentally had a fan interaction on Instagram. And I thought, it's going to be a while before I'm in Mexico City again.
Yeah.
we started messaging, and we were able to meet up and record a quick little episode.
Yeah, I enjoyed that episode. That was really nice.
Awesome. Also, another fun thing about behind the scenes of that episode, on a personal note, I was able to do a little storytelling segment in the middle where I was able to do sound effects and actually do narration and stuff like that, which is a skill set that I'm learning more about doing. Okay, Liz here says, Fair is such a gem and incredibly well-spoken, as though he's used to going on podcasts all the time. This was such a lovely and special episode. The face with the 3 hearts emoji. That's very kind of you, Liz. Yeah, Fair is fantastic. He has a really nice, I forget his Instagram handle right now, but maybe I can put it in the show notes.
Yeah,
absolutely. He has a very sweet and inspiring Instagram account as well. Almost every other day, he puts something on there that like makes my day a little brighter, which is cool.
Good. That's what we need.
Indeed. Okay, lastly here, we've got one on iTunes. I always like to try to do one iTunes one, or Apple Podcasts. This is a recent review by Quasmar. I recognize Quasmar from Twitter.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
In fact, it says Twitter right here. Hey, David and Celeste, just quit Twitter where I followed. So now commenting here. Great episode on the Hyrule Afterlife. What I loved, which is the first episode that Celeste and I did in Louisiana this season. What I love is the actual lack of real answers, despite the many glimpses of the invisible world. Just like in our own world, perhaps we can never know until the afterlife literally happens or ends. I misread that. What it holds. Even though the lore suggests many things, just ask any 2 individuals from our own world, from different parts of the planet, and see what they believe and hear completely and widely different thoughts and beliefs. And I think that's beautiful. I concur. That was me saying I concur.
Okay.
One thing you never mention, what happens when Link dies? I mean, regular old game mechanics, of course. Either life is restored or you continue, or you get the game over screen. Perhaps it's just not for us to know. Love the pod. Keep up the good work. Do you have any thoughts on that, Shane?
Well, the only time I can remember is in Twilight Princess, where the past Link, Hero of Time Link, teaches the new Link.
Yes, that's a very good point.
So that he's like was it the Hero Shade? It's called, I believe.
Yes, so. And I think that it's agreed that that's Link from Ocarina of Time as he's gone into further in his life.
Yeah.
As far as Link dying, if you're playing the game and you get a game over, the way I perceive that is that it kind of never happens. You just rewind time a little bit.
Yep.
A little bit of quantum physics there. You just rewind time and keep on going.
Magic.
And from a story point of view.
Restart.
Yeah, indeed. Well, anyway, those were great listener feedbacks. Thank you so much, everyone.
I enjoyed that.
And I think, hey, this is kind of sweet. So the first video that we have to watch about people sharing their ideas of holidays that could be celebrated in the Legend of Zelda universe is actually Lost Hillian here. I think we should watch his video. The Lost Hillian, Carlos, was the guest host on Celeste's episode that we mentioned just a little bit earlier. Man, it's so cool that I can even just say those sentences. There's just so many people involved. I love it. So why don't we take a look at this and we'll come right back. Sound good?
Sounds great to me.
Hello, Zelda family. I'm Carlos, aka the Lost Hylian. You probably know me as one of the blog writers for AZP, or as co-host for the Favorite Unsolved Mysteries episode. Speaking of Hyrule holidays, which is the topic of the day, I was thinking across all the games, all the creatures, all the interesting personalities, and there was one group that really sort of rose to the top when it comes to probably having a holiday or a celebration, and that's the Bokoblins. You see, the Bokoblins are often found in Breath of the Wild around a fire. Sometimes they're sitting, sometimes they're dancing, and sometimes, or oftentimes, there's a piece of meat roasting on the fire in the center. I feel like that is a symbol of what the Bokoblins are all about. They're all about the hunt. I mean, you can find them on the plains often as you traverse Hyrule, and I'm sure that they're not always hunting Link. They're probably hunting deer or bear or whatever other creature just happens to appear in their path. So to me, the Bokoblins would definitely celebrate a hunt holiday, or perhaps a coming of spring when new prey is bountiful. And who wouldn't want to dance around an open fire with some Bokoblins? I know I would.
Holy cow, I never would have guessed Bokoblins.
No, I that was a surprise. He totally took it a different direction than I thought you could take it, but this is why it's such a great series, because you can interpret it any way you want. And I wouldn't even have thought, how would the enemies, in the game celebrate?
And that's a really good point, because I guess where Carlos was going with that, or in my opinion, what he was kind of leaning into was their only enemies. I think the Bokoblins, I don't want to drill in too much, but we can do this. They're not infested with Ganon juice or anything like that.
Yeah.
I think they're just kind of their own culture, and then
Yeah.
you get in their way.
Yeah, maybe that's the case, or maybe they got a contract with them or something, or with the enemy. I don't know. Maybe you can hunt on our lands if you fight Link. I don't know how
The
that
idea
would work.
that they have their own culture is really cool. I love
Yeah.
that. And the fires, dancing around the fires. So yeah, so Bokoblins and Moblins, or Bokoblins. I say
Yes.
Bokoblins, but I think most people say Bokoblins. Because as a kid, I thought it sounded like Goblin.
Yep.
That's what
Yeah.
I learned.
That makes sense.
I was like, oh, it's a play on Goblin. I think in the earlier games they were. It's definitely in The Adventure of Link. They're like Ganon's minions. Remember, they're
Yeah.
trying to defeat Link so
Yep.
Ganon can come back.
Mhm.
So maybe there is a bit of a quote unquote contract there, like you
Yeah.
said. But even so, the fact that I love that Carlos pointed out, like they're probably just hunting deer and getting on with their life.
Yeah.
If they see Link, they may realize there's a task to be done or something like that. We could imagine.
Yeah, I'm just wondering. They got like a wanted poster. Oh, this is Link. We just saw him in the north, east. Keep an eye out for him. Signed Ganon or signed. I don't know. I don't know how that would work, but that's just, it's just an interesting concept, having some kind of holiday around these.
That they would have their own too.
creatures.
I
So
love it. That's great.
yeah, thanks, Carlos.
Suppose perhaps they're slightly connected with the calamity, because I think when the blood moon happens, it kind of is that same kind of red smoky stuff. But
Sure.
I'm really kind of pulling at straws here, I think.
Yeah,
But
but
super cool.
he just turned something into pretty cool lure.
I agree.
I
I agree.
It's
That's awesome.
possible. Everything's possible.
Boy,
So.
that's neat. Shane, I think you have a few too. Do you have one you'd like to share here?
Sure, I'll
on
do
the
my
show?
first one.
Okay.
And I'm going to read it because I typed it out because I kind of wanted to make it as legit as possible.
You remind me of Kate with all these notes.
Yeah. Hi, Kate, by the way. I see she's doing Legos and coffee this time.
Now she's in a play right now.
Is
She's
she?
in a show through the end of season 5. So we may not be able to be joined by Kate for the rest of the season.
Okay.
She's in the middle of a play and she's very excited about it. But anyways,
Well, you're welcome to come up and visit anytime. So.
I shouldn't. This is too much. I'm so sorry. But personally, I'm between semesters when her show opens.
Okay.
So I think I'm gonna drive up to Milwaukee and try to. I haven't seen her in months now. You know,
Yeah.
at least just kind of see her show. But anyway,
Okay. So my first one's called Deku Days.
what?
So it's a festival celebrated amongst many of the various forest folk, a celebration of forest life, its history, and what nature provides its inhabitants. Some key things that usually take place in these woodland festivals are as follows. Building a roaring fire with all the Deku sticks available for the purpose of roasting and consuming of various flavored Deku nuts. Musical performances from the most talented of the forest dwellers. The selling of homemade wares like foraged mushrooms, wooden shields and swords, and homemade soaps and Deku face scrubs. The night ends with a theatrical story about the hero of time and the great Deku tree while eating some piping hot pumpkin soup.
What would a Deku face scrub be made out of? Like dried moss or something?
maybe
not sure.
it's just a scratch pad of the dried moss and
Exfoliating that extra
Yeah,
little bits of bark.
Man, this hurts.
One of the interesting things that Celeste and I learned in our favorite Deku episode, which hasn't come out yet as of this recording, actually, but is that there's a little bit of lore behind it where the Deku, not scrubs, but the Deku, I guess, race, their form that they take is slightly changed by the soil they grow in,
Okay.
and that's why you can have all these different looking.
Oh, okay.
Deku, apparently.
Well, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah. So I think the Deku are great. What were some other takeaways there? The one thing that I got a little worried about: burning the Deku sticks. Are they like burning their limbs? I don't want to get morbid here.
Well, it's called Deku Days, but it is also celebrated by other forest folks. So it could be the Kiri. It's pretty much anybody in the forest celebrates these days. So.
Oh, I like that. Cool. And also you're.
But yes, that does sound kind of morbid. But
I didn't want to. I don't want to focus on it too much. No, because Deku. No, because you can use Deku sticks in Ocarina of Time to light them up.
torches.
It's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
They are not sentient sticks. I think we're clear. I think we're good.
It's like fingernails or hair. It falls off and you can use them. Collect them in a jar. No, don't do that.
Do you? And also another thing that we learned in this most recent episode is that, of course, there's like the Deku Babas are considered kind of bad guys, but then there's the Deku Scrubs, and then of course the Deku Tree. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wow.
A lot of variety. So
maybe I could imagine it happening near the Deku Tree. I love it.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Good.
Maybe we do one more video, one more guest video, and then go to break and come back around.
All right.
Let's see. I'm thinking, let's do a podcast one. I like this. Let's do. So we were able to. There's a show that has only hit my radar somewhat recently, maybe in the last 2 or 3 months, but they've been doing it for a long time. But it's the podcast Hello Hyrule. I don't know if you're familiar. You probably are.
I've listened to a few episodes.
Mm-hmm. I like those two guys. I think they've got a really they're kind of my new favorite. I listen to a lot of Zelda based shows, but they're the one I'm like starting to make sure I kind of catch.
Oh, good.
It's cool. I kind of like their structure and what they're doing, and I think they're both well-spoken dudes. And so anyway, we reached out to them, and they gave us a video here about their holidays.
Oh, perfect.
Let's watch.
All right.
Hello, AZP. This is Hello Hyrule, the premier Legend of Zelda Travelogue podcast. We are your tour guides. My name is Pete.
And my name's Chris. Hey, Pete.
Yes, sir.
The kind folks over at Another Zelda podcast this year reached out to us to ask us what some of our favorite Hyrule holidays and traditions are.
Oh, tough call. Judging from the games, Hyrule prefers like small festivals and whatnot to, full-blown holidays, right?
Yeah, that's true. And we don't get a ton of insight into all of those.
Yeah, I mean, we got the Pickery Festival and the Korok ceremony,
right.
which we do see a little bit of that, right? But like, there's going to be others that we hear about, but that's about it.
Yeah. And we have things like the Champion Festival or like Twilight Princess's Hyrule Festival, but again, kind of vague on the details there.
Yeah.
So Hyrule likes to celebrate like the New Year. They like their historical events.
Sure. I mean, even if those events are fictional in the minds of most people.
Right. So
how about like, you never see the Gorons do anything, right? Like, so you see different races, the Zora, they have a holiday, the Pickery or whatever, they have a holiday. Like, what if the Gorons just have like a big old feast day? Like, like a harvest festival kind of thing.
Ooh, I like that. Like Goron Thanksgiving.
Yeah, sure. I mean, why not? They work all year mining all these rocks for different purposes. Like, what if they just have one day where they eat their fill of all the stuff that they love the most, and then they like sumo wrestle or something?
Sumo wrestling as the stand-in for their football or their sport is
exactly.
a very good detail. Do they have any like garb or anything that they wear during this?
Oh, I mean, like Goron hardly wear anything on a cold day, so.
Okay, that is a fair point. So for mine, I kind of wanted to go a little bit less with the holidays and a little bit more in the spirit of traditions. So on Hello Hyrule, we do these things called Hyrule Business Highlights, where we like to talk about the small businesses across Hyrule. So kind of in that vein, what I was thinking of was, well, what I'm always thinking of are the Yetis in Twilight Princess. Yeto and Yetta, I believe their names are. And the way they like absolutely would shred down Snow Peak Mountain.
Oh, sure.
So what I'm thinking, right? The winter season is upon us. They're opening up the slopes. They're hopefully fencing things in a little bit so there are maybe a little bit less fatalities than the last time I played Twilight Princess. Maybe Yetta puts on some Santa Claus garb and gets one of the white wolfos dressed up as a reindeer, and they could take the kids out on some sleigh rides.
So like an X Games Santa's Village kind of thing?
Kind of. And then for people who are like a little bit less extreme oriented, they can do walking tours of the Snow Peak ruins and learn about the sages maybe, or about the wars that have gone on in Hyrule's history in like those artillery rooms.
Okay.
And then at the end of the day, maybe Yeto warms up a nice big cauldron of soup for everyone, because who doesn't appreciate that?
I mean, why not? That's pretty festive.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks again, another Zelda podcast, for inviting us on. If you are interested in more from us, you can check out Hello Hyrule, a Legend of Zelda travelogue podcast, on all podcast providers.
Also, no matter what you're celebrating this year, Hello Hyrule wishes you a safe and happy holiday season.
All right, Chris, we got to say it. We got to say it. Come on, do it for the holiday.
I'd rather be on the naughty list.
Come on. Excuse me, podcast. There, that didn't hurt.
We'll come right in. I was not sure where they were going at the end of that video.
Me either, but that's pretty cool.
Excuse me. Oh my gosh, that's funny. The second that the idea of the Yeti festival came up, I was like, fish soup. We got to have the fish soup.
Oh my gosh, man! The Goron thing too was pretty cool.
Yeah, I liked that. The sumo wrestling.
I feel the Gorons would sumo wrestle to see who gets to break the wishbone. Out of the turkey.
Heck yeah. Well, yeah. Well, but here's the thing: there wouldn't be a turkey because but it'd be some kind of rock, right?
Yeah.
They crush a special rock that's particularly delicious. How about that?
That sounds good to me.
Yeah, I like that. I like the Goron holiday. I don't know if there are too many holidays that the Gorons celebrate.
It would be nice to elaborate on something in the maybe Tears of the Kingdom. So some new traditions and holidays would be kind of nice to add to the lore.
Is there a turn of the season version, or they could simply celebrate when they first built their town on a mountain, or maybe maybe the Gorons actually celebrate I'm stretching here, but they celebrate a certain cycle of the volcano of Death Mountain, because I think they're almost always on Death Mountain. Are they ever not? There's always at least a town somewhere. Twilight Princess, they're up past Kakariko Village.
Is it Skyward Sword? Only has the
there really isn't a
traveling
home base.
Goron, right?
Gorons will travel, but I think their home bases are always connected to Death Mountain. So maybe that could be the root of the celebration, some kind of cycle there or something like that. That'd be kind of neat. But as far as how they celebrate, I love the feast. I love collecting the rocks. I love this thing we just came up with the super tasty rock. That's what's broken or something like that. A special rock. Maybe there's an honorary person. Oh, and then they were mentioning Hello Hyrule. They were mentioning what would the Gorons wear, and I think it would probably just be like special headbands or something. That's all I can imagine.
Or some kind of bracelets.
Oh, bracelets! Of course, Goron bracelets.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a passing of the bracelet. There we go.
Yeah.
Dang, we are just yes-anding Hello Hyrule right now.
Yeah. Sorry, we're stepping it up, but
no, they planted the seeds.
They did pretty good.
That was fun. Thank you, Hello Hyrule, so much for sending the video. It's a pleasure to be in the Zelda fandom with you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
I think let's go to break and we'll come back and we'll experience a few more Hyrule holiday ideas.
Yes, can't wait.
Cool.
Hey, this is TC.
And this is Jim from The Studio Demands It,
a bi-weekly screenwriting podcast where every episode we conceptualize and craft an entire screenplay from the ground up based on the demands and stipulations of one of our listeners acting as a studio.
You send the demands and we meet them.
And we do everything from hypothetical sequels of popular franchises.
You want a Star Wars Episode 10?
To reboots and reimaginings of films that deserve a fresh chance.
Die Hard 5, The Lone Ranger.
To hypothetical films that simply must be brought into existence.
Why, yes, we do have Justice League 1995 starring Michael Keaton and Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage! So join the creative process over at StudioDemandsIt.com.
Or find us on all the podcasting platforms where you can listen to our newest episodes and our entire back catalog.
Hey, what else do we got for these people?
A Pirates of the Caribbean starring Karen Gillian.
Happy Death Day 3.
Fast and or Furious 10. They Race on Mars.
Oh, how about a Frozen 2?
Reign of Fire 2. More future, more dragons.
Daniel and Chris here from the Turn by Turn podcast. We're excited to announce that our season 2 is going to be starting up. Something special about this season is that we're going to be talking with indie RPG game developers about their games, and they've been nice enough to give us screenshots and videos that we've attached to the YouTube. So while you're listening, you can also check out that and see what the games look like, as well as hearing the creators talk about their games. We have a lot of really interesting stuff in store, and Chris is on this ad too. Anything else to add?
It's very, very exciting to be talking to lots of game developers, learning about how to make a game, how to release a game, and we still make sure to cover lots and lots of your favorites, so make sure you tune in.
Thank you for listening. Bye.
All right, maybe we should write something down.
I think it sounded fairly organic.
Yeah, it did.
And we are back from the break. Thank you for hanging out with us this Hyrule holiday season. Hopefully you're having some fun watching the video or just listening to this episode. I'm having a lot of fun kind of riffing on these ideas.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed so far with the videos, and we've only seen 2 out of the 5, so
that's true.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what else people come up with.
I'm thoroughly enjoying this hot chocolate chain.
Thank you very much. We can have a second one after.
Did you say it was like a special chocolate in there?
It's Ghirardelli Cocoa Mocha.
Fair enough. Cool. Cool. Oh, so good. And my candy cane has melted in there now.
That's the best part.
So now I'm getting little like swirls of peppermint with every sip.
I'm going to drop mine in.
I did that too. I did that halfway through the first half. All right. So let's see here. Let's let's just do another video right off the bat.
Let's do it.
All right, cool. Let me pull one up. Let's see. I think in this case we will. Oh, this is kind of a sweet. I haven't watched the video yet. All of these I'm watching for the first time right now. But David Lopez, who has been a guest writer on our blogs, sent us a video. And I personally have a little bit of a personal relationship with David Lopez now. He reached out just to AZP and to us in general about a year ago because I've mentioned him once or twice on the show already, but he's was put in charge of running a couple podcasts for a newspaper in California.
Yep, I do remember this, and I have said hi to him a few times on Twitter. So
sweet. Yeah, I think it's the Acorn is the name of the paper, and we ended up having a couple Zoom meetings together, he and I, and he just would ask questions about podcasting and how to make things, what to do, software, how to make a room sound good. Yeah. And I was able to talk to him about that stuff, and I was able to ask him questions, and I learned a few strategies from him. So we had, all right, calm down, phone. I'm being so unprofessional. Put it on silent. Oh, it was off silent because of videos. It was really special. We chatted a few times, and I really consider him a friend of the show, truly. Good. Very cool. I love this. Honestly, Carlos was there was a time way back in like season 2 or 3 where Carlos and I got on the phone and we just talked about producing podcasts and how to make them because he had a couple ideas for some stuff. And so I know Carlos is part of it. And honestly, David is starting to get integrated into the scene here too.
Good. Maybe he'll start writing or doing something else for us.
He wrote a guest article.
Yep, I do remember that.
A few weeks ago. And so here we go. Let's pull up this file from David Lopez.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is David Lopez, and I am a podcast producer for a local string of community newspapers here in Ventura County in Southern California. And I've also been a guest blog writer for another Zelda podcast, and that's one of the things I'm really most excited and proud about that I've done probably in the last couple of years. So one of the things I wanted to talk about here is if there was a ceremony of some sort, a religious gathering, so to speak. I wanted to talk about the Kokiri and what that might look like for them. And this kind of got me thinking of ways to maybe plug one of my biggest plot holes from Ocarina of Time. And that to me is what happens to Navi in the 7 years that Link is kind of frozen in time while he matures, and what happens to Navi that whole time. And so one of the things that I kind of started to wrap my head around is if there would be some sort of coming of age ceremony for them. Now, the Kokiri don't really age, so maybe not a coming of age, but a ceremony where they get and get acquainted with their fairy after a trip through the forest alone, where on the other side they come out and are granted access to their fairies that they would then have for the rest of their lives. And really, I don't know too much about this, if there is something that fills that void, but for me it kind of explained if there was a time period where they would naturally be without a fairy, then that would just be an extension of that, and it would be a much longer journey for Navi, obviously, to have to wait it out and wait for her Link to come out of that state and be available to finish up their journey together. But so that was just kind of my thing, is I think the Kokiri would be a rite of passage to where they start in the forest alone and they come out the other side with their fairy.
Okay, I already have some thoughts.
I do too, and I'll let you go first.
No, please, you. I talk so much.
So a few things. That was amazing, David. So what if? So Link got Navi appointed to him, basically.
Yes.
So since he's not actually Kokiri, maybe he didn't have to do this tradition that they would walk through and find their fairy. Now the other thing that is interesting is, if they had to walk through the forest and say they had to go through the Lost Woods to do this, all the Kokiri who got lost, maybe not being able to find their fairy, turned into Skull Kids, or
oh my goodness,
you know what I mean? It could be the reason why they got lost
in the Lost Woods.
Oh my gosh,
Well, let me pivot on that. Let me pivot on that. I think you got something there. I love this Lost Woods angle. I didn't think about that. I was considering. I think, David, thank you so much for sending the video to us and joining us on this holiday special. But I think he's absolutely right. Like, what does Navi do during that time?
Yeah,
we can save that for another day. But what if we kind of pivot this idea into, it's not so much that all fairies and their Kokiri. What if? Here's a big old what if after the events of Ocarina of Time, there is a new holiday where when a fairy and a Kokiri, now Kokiri don't age, but when they've been together for whatever calendar records it as being like 14 years or something like that, there's not a trial, but a ceremony where they do have to then go find their fairy in the Lost Woods to make, and that symbolizes the connection. Or maybe, because that's when Navi would come back to Link when he was 14. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
See where I'm going with this? And so to honor Link and Navi, here on out, the Kokiri could have a new coming of age ritual or holiday. Maybe it's a holiday where all the fairies go in the forest and all the Kokiri go at once. I don't know.
And what if, let's say Saria is still somehow a presence at the temple, and maybe she's the one that blesses them, when they make it to the temple.
I'm so into this. I love this.
I love this a lot.
That's great. That's cool. So I think, I don't know how to work the Navi, what does Navi do for those 7 years angle, but it's a very good point. As a holiday, and I don't think that if we're just kind of, blue skying here, I don't think the fairies would leave the Kokiri partner at age of 7 and then come back at age of 14.
Yeah.
I just think it's more like my brain's going right now is there could be a version where it's just celebratory. It's like even though they don't age, a coming of age celebratory thing somewhere around after 14 years. And then it's perceived that there on out the fairy and the Kokiri connection is forever, even though Navi leaves Link. But it doesn't have to be a one-to-one. It doesn't have to be one-to-one.
I think the plot, since he isn't Kokiri, maybe that's why she couldn't stay.
There you go.
With him. Maybe she's assigned to someone else who also needs help. Maybe she's a fairy that needs to go help a different timeline Link.
You just single-handedly built a little headcanon for me for Ocarina of Time. Kate and I have talked about this. I've talked about this with so many people. What does Navi do or say at the end of Ocarina when she just flies away? And you've just, for now, in my headcanon forever, because you just said it, she is explaining to him that he's not Kokiri and their time is done or whatever.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And then why is he going to find her again later in Majora's? We don't have to get too far into that, but I love this idea that it's not just it's not abandonment. It's like our time together. You don't even need a fairy, Link, but I was here to help you through this because that's what I was a tool that the Deku Tree had. I was a soldier of the Deku Tree to help you get on your quest or something.
Yeah.
That's where that's coming from.
Yeah. Wow.
Cool.
Thank you,
cool.
David.
Thank
That was great.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Every single idea that's come in so far, I've never even considered. Maybe we talk about this at the end of the episode. I've thought about like the festivals and the whatever, and I'd love to see something in Castletown. You know what I mean? Maybe we can kind of talk about that a little bit towards the end.
Yeah.
But I think you have another one prepared. Is that right?
Yes. I'll read this one. This is a little longer, but not too bad.
No problem.
Blood Moon Magic Harvest Festival also is referred to as Double Your Luck Day. One night during the year, signs of the regenerative blood moon occurs, which brings back life that was recently lost. During this time, farmers and gardeners take advantage of this nice, unique restoration capability. If you were to pick your crops within 3 days before the occurrence of the blood moon, and you had left the plant stems, vines, and roots in great condition, the blood moon will cause an additional growth of new flowers, fruit, vegetables, etc. It is also known as Double Your Luck Day because the blood moon doesn't always occur in the same pattern every year. So if you happen to pick your crops at the right time, you can harvest your crop a second time and sell twice as much, which really helps small business farmers financially, and you can also help the customer since an overabundance can reduce overall prices. The festival to celebrate takes place on the Saturday following the occurrence of the blood moon. A farmer's market usually is the focus, as well as games and music. This is usually celebrated by the Hylian race, but can spill over into other races or mixed towns based on trade routes and traditions, and that have good relationship statuses. It is advised to stay out of graveyards the night of the blood moon, especially ones with fresh graves.
So what I love about what you've just put down is that, even a conventional Christmas or something, many different kinds of holidays that sometimes when they're based a little bit more on a version of spirituality, there is sometimes a slight, there's a little 10% of it that's a little dark too. You know what I mean? And so there could be the, like, we're celebrating the crops thing. But by the way, don't go in the graveyard. And there's puts a little bit of mystery on the holiday. I love this. This is great. The blood moon. Okay, so where if they leave the crops if the roots stay in the dirt, is that what you're saying?
So if you say you got pumpkins or something, and you pick them and you left that vine there, and it's still decently fresh and it's not withering, within those 3 days it will regrow if there is a blood moon.
I like that. And then because it's random, so maybe the holiday aspect of it is a week or two long. It's like a range during that time.
Yep.
If you
I could see some gambling going on here too. You can be like, hey, I give you some rupees if it happens on Saturday.
Of course that would happen. Oh my gosh. Pardon me. That's not bad. That's not bad, Shane. And
I kind of put it in the 3 days range because, of course, Majora's Mask has the 3 days or the moon crashes.
Is that why?
That's I kind of put that together with the Lord, the blood moon.
How often does the blood moon actually happen? For exple, in Breath of the Wild, is it every? I thought it was every like fourth or fifth day or third day.
It's every third day.
Every third night.
I just wanted to make it a little more practical. I think Breath of the Wild is definitely a one-off for that, and I feel like if you're doing a different timeline, this would occur.
I see. Oh, wow. Okay, I like that a lot because the one hang-up that I had, I thought it was great. I thought all of it was great.
Yeah.
But the one thing I was like, wait a second, didn't we slightly establish that the blood moon might only control or bring back to life I guess calamity influenced things.
Yeah.
And maybe there's a version where you drip a little bit of calamity juice on your vegetables, but that's starting to get it's kind of a questionable narrative there then as to what the actual goal is or the reason behind the whole thing. But that aside, if it were just in a different universe and we have this construct of the blood moon, would they rename it? Would they call it a different moon? Would they call it something else? I'm not joking at all.
Yeah, they could.
The Harvest Moon or there's like a series of horror films called Harvest Moon. That's not, it maybe doesn't have to go that way either. Anyways, cool, nice. Yeah, let's go into another video here.
All right.
Hi, this is Kevin. I'm a guest blog writer for AZP. I've written a couple blogs so far, mostly about my classroom and the way my son and I have connected to the games. One of my favorite games in the whole series is The Wind Waker. It might be my favorite. I love the exploration aspect of the game, the way you travel across the seas from island to island. I imagine that this holiday that we're thinking of will take place years and years and years after the events of the game. And much like in the game where you celebrate the heroes of old and the the kids get like the green tunic at the beginning of the game, and your character of Link gets one too from his grandma, that in the future version, the kids of the Great Sea would want to commemorate the Link from Wind Waker and the voyage that he took with the King of Red Lions. And so I can see in a future version of that Great Sea, that people would want to commemorate that. And I can see the peoples coming together to celebrate the voyage of that Link. There would be boats of all shapes and sizes, and they maybe would meet at Windfall Island or Outset Island, one of the bigger islands, to celebrate. And this would be a time of connection and sharing, of stories and friendships. And then I kind of imagine the brave few, along with their ships and maybe their crews, they would set out on a journey across the sea to kind of follow that path that the Link from Wind Waker took. Maybe it's the path from island to island. Maybe it's the path to find the pieces of the Triforce. Some sort of route that would take them all over the space. And then with that kind of setting for a holiday, you can imagine all kinds of stories and situations. They could be epic in scope, with boats navigating the high seas in a very formal fashion. When I think about it, my imagination goes to something much more sillier. When you imagine those sort of race movies or cartoons like Wacky Racers, or movies like Midnight Madness or Better Off Dead, or its often overlooked sequel, which does have a boat race, which is called One Crazy Summer. I kind of imagine those kind of antics taking place within the Zelda universe, with a bunch of like teenage Zelda characters trying to get from one space to another on the ocean, but then all running into like some weird situation. And that's my idea for the holiday. Hope you like it. Bye.
I do like it.
Absolutely.
I was thinking one of my quick thoughts as I was listening to Kevin was that maybe the route could just be as simple as going from, I was thinking Windfall. He mentioned Windfall, but maybe it's even Outset, and then just going to the 3 Triforce spots or something.
Yeah.
And coming back would be cool.
A little pilgrimage. I'm thinking of like people around the world that do pilgrimages, for different holidays or different events. So
I like the idea of a good boat parade going around the ocean.
There you go. Like on 4th of July here in America, you go out to the lake and everyone ties their boats together and watch the fireworks. I've been to a couple of those.
That's true. That does happen.
Yeah. Wow.
So maybe it could be to the Triforce spots and the little ceremonies done at each one, or who knows what.
But even in itself, the green tunic would be a very interesting ceremony later on if this is something that they do for like. Almost like Skyward Sword, where you get when you get your bird and you get your garb, something like that.
Absolutely, I guess another little bit of a coming of age thing, a little bit. And it could be it could be the exact. Maybe it's a replica outfit, but someone's given it or something, or it gets passed on to another person.
Or maybe they are anticipating another Link, and they do this for everyone, and then they find out who
just to see
who Link it.
Imagine the pressure.
Yeah.
Imagine the pressure.
Am I the one?
Put it on. No, guys, I think I feel it. I think I'm Link.
I think I'm Link.
No, nothing's happened. Nothing's
Come on,
changing.
Clyde. You're not Link.
No, I'm pretty sure. It feels right. Where's the wand?
Yeah. He's practicing it.
Yeah, but he gets it wrong.
Huh?
Instead of no, it's totally fine. Look, I'm gonna roll.
It's the tree.
That's like the one part he gets.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's ridiculous. But yeah, no.
I like that, man.
Wind Waker is great. I love a ship parade, a boat parade idea.
Oh man.
And then it culminating, maybe it culminates on Outset or something like that.
Yeah.
How often do you think this happens? Is this an annual thing, or is this? I don't know if Kevin spoke to that. I don't remember.
I don't know. Maybe this is like I don't know. Maybe it's every decade. Maybe it's 7 years.
7 years. Is Link 10 in
10 or 11
in Wind Waker? I think he is
10, maybe. Yeah.
I think I used to think he was a little older. there's some debate, but I think it officially somewhere in the Hyrule story it says the ages. But anyway, even if he's roughly 10, that'd be kind of interesting every 10 years. But boy, oh boy, putting the pressure on the person putting it on. Maybe it's more symbolic. I just my heart's racing right now just thinking about that. Like, what does that person do with their life after they're not Link?
Yeah, or they take a Korok leaf and they totally biff it off the cliff, and they're like, oh, well, you're not Link.
Straight into the ocean. All right. Well, I guess I'll go back to the shop. Just run in the local shop.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy. But no, I think that's great. I think Windmaker's fantastic. And thank you very much, Kevin, for participating in the AZP blogs and for sending us the video.
Yeah.
We have one video left, but I want to save it a little bit. We have Celeste, our co-producer, sent one in.
Perfect.
And I don't know. Are there any others that you've kind of been thinking about? Let's riff here for a few minutes.
Yeah. And I asked this question to my daughter this morning. What kind of holidays would take place in a Zelda game?
Mm-hmm.
And she just said, "Oh, Ganon would celebrate, beating Link, or if he defeated Link." And I thought that was really interesting. And I don't know really how to spin off that. Like, what would he do? Would he?
I think this is conceivable.
Yeah,
because this could be in the hero dies timeline.
Yeah. What would Ganon do to celebrate after Link passes, after his defeat, his demise?
And would that celebration, it's a matter of perspective, would that celebration be a celebration of the defeat of Link, or would it be the celebration of Ganon's rise or something?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's celebrating
Depends
his
on
victory.
the branding. Depends on the branding of the holiday.
Yeah. Now that would also make for an interesting game too. I think if they spun off of Ganondorf has won, and now a new Link has been born, and now is going to rise up, and it takes 10 to 15 years to get there.
Interesting.
But I would assume Ganondorf would be in his castle drinking goblets of pumpkin juice or whatever he's got going on there.
So much milk.
Yes, Lon milk, because he is just taking it over.
Mm-hmm.
He's got those guys working for him.
It's a monopoly on Lon.
I don't know how would Ganondorf celebrate his win? Would he amass army and keep spreading his tyranny?
Yeah, is he a festival kind of guy? Is he doesn't seem. There's not a lot of. Come to think of it, Ganondorf.
Yeah.
Anytime I think of Ganondorf right now, there's a little. His outfit always has a little bit of theatrics with the gems and whatever, but for the most part, he doesn't seem to be a particularly theatrical character.
Yeah. But he does play the piano at the end there. And I feel like he would put on some kind of concert of some sort where he's playing, like he made this song of defeating Link, and he has all his subjects listen to this kind of just crescendo of him beating Link.
A massive organ piece. I think that's exactly what would happen. And it probably wouldn't be mandatory on paper, but everyone would know that it was mandatory.
Would have to attend. Yes.
I think that's how that would go down. Oh boy,
man.
Simple. There's always simple stuff. I'd love to see like a annual thing at Castletown, like I said earlier in this episode.
Would it be like everyone have to give him monthly dues, like in Robin Hood or something?
If Ganondorf was...
he's got his goons going around taking money from the businesses, siphoning off of them.
So does Ganon's castle stay Ganon's castle at the end of Ocarina of Time in the Diffuse?
I would assume so.
I mean, it falls, but maybe he rebuilds it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He probably has a bunch of people rebuild it for him.
Oh my gosh.
To his liking. He put anybody says anything against him goes right to jail.
What could happen in Link's Awakening? What kind of festival could happen in Link's Awakening? Obviously, the first thing I think about, the biggest monumental event, is like the entering of the egg or the moving on of the windfish. But I think their reality ends after that.
Yeah, you'd have to live on in that seagull.
Okay, that's kind of cool. It's a holiday celebrating the seagull. That could
instead
be
of releasing of the doves, you release your seagull to keep your dreams alive.
All right, I like where this is going. That's cool. Yeah, absolutely.
Be like a lantern type thing, except you maybe you you either buy a seagull from someone who raises them, or you raise your own, and then at the end of the year you release the seagull.
I think if we're trying to stay super thematic here, you'd have to raise your own.
Yeah.
That's how that seagull would have a connection with you.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
I like that one.
There's the obvious, like there already is the festival at the celebration at the end of Ocarina of Time where everybody is celebrating the defeat of Ganon and Ganondorf. But I always have a hard time with those end credit sequence because so much chronology or lore gets kind of broken in that cutscene that I don't want to focus on it too much. But there's obviously a big festival there. There's obviously the real world festival in Majora's Mask that they were getting ready for.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of one more. Skyward Sword. Well, Skyward Sword has the whole, getting the bird.
What about, like, if we're talking about Lorule, what would they celebrate versus Hyrule?
Okay, right. Yeah.
Would it be opposite, something opposite, or?
Well, okay, if the holiday were to take place inside the context of the game, it would probably have to be opposite. Yeah, it would be like cleverly not that they're destroying something instead of creating something, but it'd be something opposite.
Yeah.
Perhaps if it existed in a world, in a universe after the game, then maybe it would be a little different.
Yeah.
Crazy. Well, I've got one more submission here from Celeste, and I think one more video shared with us for this holiday episode. And I'm going to pull it up right now. This is from Celeste Roberts, our co-producer of Another Zelda podcast.
Hey everyone, my name is Celeste Roberts, and I'm the co-producer and the blog editor of Another Zelda podcast. So a holiday I think that would be cool in the Zelda series would be something with the Gerudo. Okay, so something celebrating their femininity, their warrior status, their unity, just their way of life, everything. And I could picture them gathering in front of the spirit temple, maybe by the goddess of the sand. They could have bonfires, they could have dances, they could enjoy some delicious fresh fruit like they have in the desert in Breath of the Wild. Maybe they would exchange or make some jewelry like they have in Breath of the Wild. And I also think it'd be really cool if each member had to demonstrate her strength with their scimitars and their sabers. I'm kind of thinking like color guard members and marching band. How cool would that be? Or they could actually fight with them. So a Gerudo holiday, that would be my holiday.
All right, fair enough. I love that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it felt like that was Gerudo kind of from the Ocarina of Time existence, is what it seemed like to me.
With a little of the Breath of the Wild as well.
Yeah,
with
that's true.
Oasis and stuff like that. I could totally see him doing like either fighting each other, just you sign up like some kind of contest. And,
ceremonial contest.
Or maybe they have something where who's going to lead us this year, and all the submittants would go and try to, fight and then determine who's their leader for that year, almost like some kind of political type voting system.
Yeah, it's the main bodyguard.
Yeah.
If we're in Breath of the Wild, it's the main bodyguard of the person in charge. I also couldn't help myself, but as Celeste was speaking about the Gerudo, I kind of deductively went, okay, Zora, Goron, and I thought about the Rito.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, maybe there's a version where the Rito actually celebrate the day, if it was a single day, the day that the goddesses converted them from Zora to Rito.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that would be in the Wind Waker timeline or something like that. The day that they literally came to exist, came to be, which I think is how that works in their legacy or their history.
Mm-hmm.
That would obviously be something that they would probably. And how would they celebrate it though? They wouldn't go back. They wouldn't like dive into the water. They'd be flying. There's also like simple stuff with Rito where maybe, it's always coming of age. It's always now you can do the thing where you fly the thing or something. A little bit of that. But maybe as a culture, well then, like what kind of holidays would happen post Breath of the Wild? If Breath of the Wild, what you know what I mean? I think obviously it's. Maybe each beast, maybe each culture has a small holiday of when a beast was defeated by Link.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They'd have their own, and then those holidays could culminate in a refreshed castle town or something like that.
Or maybe they, how each beast shoots a beam to the castle. Maybe everyone has to, for their continued alliance, has to fire it up and go over the castle, and then people go and they celebrate, and maybe this is also a new storyline where one of them doesn't light it or something happens. Maybe either A, they're not loyal anymore, or B, an evil has returned and they sabotaged
like Ganondorf?
Yeah, possibly. But yes, I feel like that would be a cool tradition, lighting those things up, and then, under that light, that's where you have the celebration at Hyrule.
Yes,
Castle
powering up those beams. That would be so cool. That would be so cool. And maybe if they wanted to get real, not weird about it, but if they want to get real technical, it was like when they could, in the order that the beasts were reclaimed by Link. They could, one day, and it could be a week thing where it builds up and then they're all there, and that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Technically, there's an observatory inside the Hyrule Castle in Breath of the Wild. Maybe something where they could be looking at stuff that way. But anyway, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, all these ideas are great.
Wow.
And they're so varied. I was surprised. I thought we would have like a lot of I want to say overlap, but this didn't really have a lot of overlap. It was a lot of new stuff that I hadn't thought of, and I'm really glad that everyone had chimed in on this. This is really cool.
Yeah, very fun indeed. And Shane, it was absolutely a pleasure to hang out here.
Yeah,
next to the fire. So cool. I hope you and your family have a healthy and happy holiday.
Well, thank you.
I hope
you
everyone
as well.
Yes, thank you very much. Everybody watching, thanks for hanging out with us. Hopefully you're able to have some peaceful times as well in your life over the next couple weeks, certainly hopefully around or at least thinking of loved ones. And Shane, with that, if people wanted to reach out to you or find some of your blogs, how could they do that?
Sure. I'm usually on Twitter at StillSaneShane. I also, again, write blogs and podcasts with Another Zelda Podcast, as well as Boss Rush Network. You can read all my stuff on either of those sites. So, feel free to reach out to me, and I definitely would love to talk anything Zelda or anything really in general. So
yeah, the Boss Rush stuff at least gives you an opportunity to write about stuff that's not just Zelda too.
Yeah. So I have different outlets as well, but Zelda's my favorite, so I'm glad I'm here. So.
Love it. Yeah, this was great to drive up here today. And just to see a little slice of your life every year or so is always a real treat for me. If people want to find me online, I'm at Raptor Paint on Twitter and Instagram. And I know this is an evergreen episode technically, but I have a little bit of an announcement. I have a new podcast that has just posted called Returning Student. Within the last year, I've gone back to school to, Shane, I know you already know this, but get a degree in podcasting, because that's a thing you can do now. And I've had some ups and downs, but the journey has been really rewarding and really interesting. I'm in my third semester now, about halfway through a 6-semester journey. The show is delayed by 1 year. Mm-hmm. So right now, the episodes that have just come out are about my going to my first semester last year. And so you can find Returning Student on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and all that kind of stuff. And on Twitter, it's Returning STDT, Returning Student, on Twitter and Instagram. So that's been a really, really rewarding experience for me. If people want to find more information about Another Zelda podcast, oh yes, of course, thank you to the Switch Clicks, thank you to David, thank you to Kevin, thank you to Carlos and Celeste for joining us via video and giving us so many great ideas. Very, very special. And if you want to learn a little bit more about Another Zelda Podcast, you can find us on Twitter at Another Zelda Pod, Instagram at Another Zelda Podcast. I'm feeling relaxed right now.
I am too.
I
feel great.
Normally, you're supposed to ramp up at the end with be sure to find us at blah, blah, blah. And I'm just kind of like, hey, guys.
hey.
It's the hot chocolate. The hot chocolate's brought me to a new level of calm.
Chocolate. Yeah, it's got that,
I love it.
I'm shaking here. Okay.
Anyways, let's see. You can just go to our website, anotherzeldapodcast.com, where you can find all of our blog posts that our blog writers have written. You can find every single episode we've ever made, 5 years worth of episodes now. I think we actually peaked 100 episodes a few episodes back.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of hard to say because then we do bonus episodes and we have the Patreon episodes. But yeah, boy, oh boy. I'm getting a little sentimental about it right now, especially with the holidays happening, how AZP has become such a family for me personally. All of you participating and joining in, it's humbling, and it's a real treasure to have that.
Absolutely. I'm just, it's amazing. It's 5 years already, and this has been a really big part of my life, and I thank you for that, and Kate. So
Yeah, who'd have thought back in 2017? We were just like, let's talk about Zelda a little bit. And we're going to keep on going. There's plenty to keep talking about. So anyway, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes,
And Shane, until the next time I'm here, or maybe I'll see you in Chicago or something, I'll see you then.
Queuing.
Okay,
goodbye.
There it is. Oh!
I had to do a little suspense, but yes.
Oh,
okay, goodbye.
That's what it was. I was like, surely he hasn't forgotten.
I'm feeling too relaxed.
I always have to make sure that I do the outro in a way where a person can actually say it.
Yep.
Which is usually like, all right, I'll see you later. One time I had to do it. I was hosting to the end myself, and I was like, all right, everybody, okay, bye. I had to say it in like a real weird way. All right, okay, bye, everybody. Have a happy holiday.
Happy holidays.